All right, so this is the parent meeting. Sending out a video this year. It's always difficult to find a time to get people together. I think this is probably easier for everybody. I'm gonna try to make this as short as possible. We're gonna hit the highlights. I'm not gonna go over everything that's on my sheet here. I will email that out as an attachment with this email. I will also put on there the Remind app, how to get signed up for that. That's how I'm gonna mostly communicate with athletes and parents during the season. And I'm pretty sure I have everybody's email as far as parents go. And that's how I'll send out schedules and those types of things. All right, player commitments. Grow as a person. I think any coach is going to tell you they want their athletes to grow as a person. I think we do a pretty good job of not just saying that, but helping athletes grow as leaders, as people, as young adults. I think that's a focus that we have, and we want the players to commit to growing as a person. Being coachable. I told you the girls the other day, you listen with your eyes. Being coachable is something that is going to make all 5 of these things better. It's not fun to coach players that aren't coachable. It's extremely rewarding to coach players that are coachable, and I think we've done a very good job of that. Being a good teammate. As a parent, if you think back to your, if you were out for sports, your athletic career, if somebody mentions a person that you played with, you probably don't think of first if they were a good player or not. You probably think of if you like them or not. Were they a good person? Were they a good teammate? And then those things come later. Being a good teammate is very important. With 16, 17 girls out this year, being a good teammate is important. Supporting your teammates in good times and in bad is very important, and that really helps. I think we've had a pretty close team the past few years, and it's because we've had good teammates. Being responsible, being on time. If you're not able to be at practice, letting the coach know. And the girls have done a very good job of that so far. And then growing as a basketball player. This is basketball, and that's the whole kind of the point. Besides growing as a person, we want to grow as a basketball player. And if we can do those 5 things this year, and the coaches focus on that, and the girls focus on being coachable, growing as a person, being a good teammate, being responsible, growing as a basketball player, then we're going to have an enjoyable and successful season on multiple levels. Parent expectations: support your child in those 5 areas. Support your child in growing as a person, being coachable, being a good teammate, being responsible, and growing as a basketball player. And within those, there's going to be positives. There's going to be things that are going well, and there's going to be things that aren't going well. But that's part of growing as a person, handling adversity, those types of things. It's easy in practice or easy in theory to say, for me to say, hey, kids do this and parents do this. I understand there's going to be bumps in the road, but hopefully we can use all those experiences as areas to grow. Sports is a good indicator of life. There's going to be times that things are going really good. There's going to be times where there's adversity and they're not going well. And how do you respond to those types of adversity, or in those times of adversity? The book we're going to read this year, Chop Wood, Carry Water, talks about embracing the daily things you need to do to get better, and what do you do when adversity hits. Those are things that every person struggles with, young person, young adult. But those are things that we're gonna, we want to emphasize and focus on. What are you gonna do if things aren't going the way you want them to go? What are you gonna do in times of adversity? But those moments can be times where you can grow in all 5 areas, and that's important because we want growth. All right, parent roles: be patient, communicate, be understanding. It is a long season, and so many things change throughout the course of a season. Whether it's playing time, whether it's the time of a specific practice, there's lots of changes, and I ask you to be patient through the process. You never start the year and end the year exactly like you think. You never know what the path is going to be, but we ask you to be be patient through that process. And again, refer back to those 5 things and, help your athlete and grow in those 5 areas. And it's okay to talk about those 5 areas. Are you doing well in this area? What can you do to improve in this area? Positively promote the program through social media. You guys as parents are probably the loudest voice in the community that we have. If you are positively promoting basketball, my girls had a great experience. They did us their day as a team. Not even the wins and losses, but the experience that your daughter has goes a long way in young parents wanting their children and young children wanting to be a part of that when they get older. And I think we're definitely building that. So we just ask for your help in promoting the program as a whole. Support your daughter's effort, commitment, and sacrifice. Whether it's in open gym in the summer, whether it's coming in early or staying late to get shots up. We're going to talk more this year about committing, and I'll talk more about that later. And if you commit to something, you need to do some extra things. You need to commit some time to that. And it's not we're not talking about committing all of your time and all of your extra time. It can be very little things, but help support your daughter in those little things that it takes to get better, to improve upon a weakness, or things like that. Celebrate the contributions of every player, JV, varsity, and managers. Studies show, I'm probably going to say this in every parent meeting I ever have from here as long as I'm coaching. Studies show what players want to hear most from their parents are 2 things. I'm proud of you, and I love watching you play. It's not how, oh, you had a lot of points, oh, I'm so happy you won. It's those things. I'm proud of you, and I love watching you play. Which seems very simple, but I know as a parent, even me, oh, how'd you do? How many points did you score? And it's more of, it needs to be more of, I really enjoy watching you play, and I'm proud of you. Successful or not in a particular game or whatever, those are the things that athletes most want to hear. Also, the most dreaded Studies also show the most dreaded time is the car ride home and what comes with that. The critiquing, what was the coach thinking, why'd you do that? Even if it's not presented in a negative way, those are the types of things that, kids just are apprehensive about that. Whether it's the car ride home or when you get home, it's kind of the, diving into it. And that can become kind of complicated too, because if you're trying to, if you see them, maybe they need to be a better teammate. Maybe they need to be more encouraging, whatever. That can be kind of a slippery slope. But again, what they most want to hear is, I'm proud of you. I love watching you play. All right, so it takes a village. Last year, I wouldn't say challenge the parents, but I had a goal for you guys to participate in, fund, coordinate, assist, help with one outside activity for the basketball team. And I couldn't have been more happy with how you parents responded. Whether it was team get-togethers and activities, whether it was meals, after practice. I mean, that was awesome. And just to see how much the girls enjoyed doing that stuff and how much it helped our team, come together and bond was truly amazing. So I applaud you. Thank you so much for what you had done last year. I'm going to ask for the same again this year. You don't have to plan a trip to a different state or anything like that. It can be very simple, but those simple things go a long way. The only thing I would maybe put, kind of add, and you don't need to do multiple things, but including parents in some type of an event, either a social event just for parents or an event for not only the athletes but parents and the rest of the family, I think would be something that would be kind of neat. But again, last year could not have been more happy with what you guys did, and hopefully we can continue to expand on that and grow, because the girls talk about that stuff, and it was really, really awesome. What we want you to know as coaches, sign a player out if you're taking them home after a game, Only parents or immediate family members can take the athletes home unless there's approval by the office beforehand, so that's out of my hands. I can't approve that. We have Erin, and she does an outstanding job. So most of the time, she's able to clear athletes for whatever health or injury issues they have. But if an athlete does go to a doctor and is withheld from competition, then they need a note from that doctor saying that. You can bring it to practice, give it to me, give it to Erin, and then they're willing to be cleared before they go back. And lots of times, like I said, Erin can do that. But just bring a note if you do go to a doctor. Concussion protocol, there's a pretty strict protocol. That's the law. So there's not much we can do about that. Playing time or other players will not be discussed. And that sometimes can be hard, but that's just not something we're going to discuss. Playing time or other players. If there are any concerns or something that needs to be discussed, hopefully the player can talk to the coach. That can solve about 95% of the problems, issues, concerns. If for some reason that doesn't work or the player's not comfortable talking to the coach, then we can schedule a meeting with the player, the parent, and possibly an administrator. I don't want to have a phone conversation about any issues or concerns, if at all possible. It's just easier to meet. And like I said, most of the time, if the girls talk to the coach, usually it can be taken care of and discussed and handled that way. And then we care. As coaches, we care about the athletes. We care about their success. We want them to do well. We want them to grow in those 5 areas. So it is difficult when we see players that are hurting. Maybe they want to play more. Maybe maybe they're injured and can't play. There's lots of reasons that players can be, lots of different adversity that they can handle. And it's hard for coaches. It's hard for the athletes. It's hard for the coaches. It's hard for the parents. It's not something that we enjoy or like doing. It is part of a job. It is part of sports. And hopefully we can use those areas to grow, like I said. But we do care about them as people and about it as athletes as well. So there are, the girls are involved in things outside of basketball, whether it's, club sports or archery. I mean, there's lots of different things, and that's awesome. I love the involvement that our girls have. As far as club stuff, and I don't want to say this is specific to club volleyball, that probably is the thing that our girls are mostly involved in, which is fine, but there are other things too. As far as club volleyball or other things, the rules are, I think, very simple. You made a commitment, or the girls have made a commitment to be on the basketball team, so don't miss basketball. And if you're hurt or sick and can't participate in basketball, then you shouldn't be participating in the outside club sport during that time. And then as far as our tournaments go, our tournaments start February 9th. That's the first weekend of tournaments. I ask, and my rule is, starting February 9th, the girls will not participate in tournaments until we are out of the postseason. I used to be the weekend before, and that's to be the basketball coach and protect basketball. And the girls have made a commitment to basketball. That's about as much as and that's about as flexible as I can get. Don't miss basketball, and starting February 9th that weekend, no tournaments until we're done playing. And you can go to practice. I'm not going to limit that. You can go to practice. Just be safe. And I think that's fair. I don't want to limit what the girls can do, but also as a basketball coach, I have to set some guidelines to be fair to basketball as well. We've worked really hard to build a positive culture the past 5 or 6 years. So it was something that I kind of looked at, I talk about things, but was I really doing those as a coach? And I think we've taken a lot of steps as far as building a very positive culture. And I know not every girl's going to go out for basketball. I know some girls are going to go out and then not go out. Some girls are going to go back out. I can't always control all those things, but what I can control is a positive culture. And I think we've done an outstanding job of creating a positive culture. And if a girl doesn't go out for basketball, it's because they don't like basketball. It's not because they didn't have a good experience. It's not because they didn't have an enjoyable experience. It's not because they didn't have fun. All right, I can't change the game of basketball, but I think we've done a good job of creating a positive culture that I'm very proud of. And I don't want to step back from that. I don't want to lessen that. I don't want to say winning's more important. It is very important to me. Consistently, we want to be a program, and I'll expand it. I want all of our girls' programs, I want all of our boys' programs to consistently win. You're always going to have years that are up and down. But what I've talked to the girls about to this point is we have a great culture. We have an awesome culture that I'm very proud of. If problems do happen, we're able to handle it and move on because of our positive culture. It doesn't become this thing that just gets bigger and bigger. But we need to start to build the habits of a winning culture. And we're starting to slowly do those things, but that's kind of the next focus, all right? You know, for a number of years, we were very young, we were inexperienced, our numbers were down, and I stepped back from holding the program accountable to those winning habits, whether it's just practice habits, whether it was watching film, you know, not anything that's like earth-shattering, like you must dedicate your whole life to basketball. It's not like that. But just those little things, those winning type of culture things. And we need to get back to that. And we've been moving toward that, but we're gonna make it more of a focus. So like, you know, I've talked about practice habits, watching film. Are you getting extra shots up? You know, I've told girls for a long time, one thing I can't do for you is make shots for you. I can get you in position, and we can always work to get in better position, but you know, are you getting more shots up in, you know, outside of practice? Are you coming 5 minutes early? Are you staying 10 minutes late and getting a few shots up? Not anything that's life-changing, but those things do matter, and that kind of it feeds from one girl to the next. So we talk to the girls. You've committed to be out for basketball. Let's make it as good as we possibly can. Let's not go halfway. Let's not put 1 foot in. And again, not asking the girls to give anything up, not asking them to, you know, pick this over that. I want girls to be involved in everything. But if we're going to consistently be a program that's going to win 15 games, going to win a couple games in the tournament, you know, it's going to make a run. We've got to start to change some of those habits and build from our positive culture, and then add those things in that are a winning culture. You know, one of the things that I do see changing is our girls now expect to win. You know, and there was a few years where it wasn't. You know, we were young, and you know, honestly, when we were young and then our numbers went down, I stepped back from those things because I was afraid. You know, we need to have girls out. We got to have new girls. You know, we need numbers. And you know, I've really come to the realization that yeah, that's important, and I don't want to drive anybody away because we do have our positive culture, and I have to be confident in that. But we do need to start to build those habits. And then that is going to be my bell there. I will send this out on email, and the season's kind of already underway, but let's keep rolling with the great season.